All right, now that you have copied practice example, we can edit this. So a spreadsheet is a great and powerful tool. We can create lists in it, we can create tables, but we can also do calculations, and that's what this group of assignments is focused on using our formulas and our functions. Just a couple of notes. Notice our rows are labeled with numbers and our columns are labeled with letters, and where these two things intersect is called a cell. You can always tell what cell is active because it's got this blue border. Now when you are manipulating cells, you want to keep in mind what your little cursor looks like. If it's a black arrow, then you can highlight, and we love to highlight, so make sure you have a black arrow. If you hover over the border, you get a white hand. This is like moving, cutting and pasting. So useful, but only if that's what you meant. And then down here in the bottom corner, we've got this blue square, and you get a black cross when you are hovering over it. So this is how we copy things. That's called the handle, and we're going to use that a lot as well. All right, so let's look here. We've got a bunch of data here, some TV shows, some numbers, maybe ratings. Let's do some functions. So let's type in sum, max, min, count, average. Now, if you've ever done any programming, you would know that a function is a way to do something over and over again without having to write a lot of code each time. So somebody who created spreadsheets said, people like to add a lot, so let's just create a function to help them do that. So it actually helps us out. Here's how we do it. First, you select where you want your function to go. So we want it to go right here. And then up here, because my windows are smaller, I'm going to go to more, and we're looking for this sigma right here. If I click on it, notice there are the 5 functions that we are learning. So they're just already right here. There are tons more, but these are the 5 we care about. So then I could say sum. So it says equals sum. Okay, what do you want to add up? So now I will come up here and I will highlight those cells. So it says sum, so it's going to add from B2 to B9. That's what the colon means. And then I hit enter. So the number 24614 is here, but if I click on it and I look up here, I can see it's actually a function. So let's do max. So I'll choose max, and then I can highlight those and then hit enter. So the largest number in this group is 4532. All right, let's do min. So what is the smallest number in this group? It is 1553. Now count's kind of a weird one. It only counts like the number of numbers you have. So in this case, how many entries do I have? Oh, there's 8 shows. Okay, that makes sense. And then of course average will average those for us. Now I could do those again, and that would only take me a second. But what if I had like 200 columns? There's no way I want to do that again. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to grab the handle. And notice black cross, you got to have that. Click and drag till you see the dotted lines and let go. So what's happened here is not only has it copied over this function, but it shifted them too. It's not B2 to B9 like our original one is. Instead it said you probably want to do the next column over, right? And so if we would have dragged this all the way across 200, it would have shifted each time. Very, very useful. And we don't have to do them one at a time. With your black arrow, highlight the rest and then grab the handle, and so there are the functions. Now let's do a little bit of math. So add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then we'll do average again. So we just want to add these 2 cells together. Notice each function starts with an equals. That is how we know that what we're about to put in is special. That's how the spreadsheet knows, because we could type words, we can type numbers, but like to get to a formula or a function, we need to indicate that's what's going on. So you start with equals. So if we put in 4532 plus 5455, it'll give us the right answer, but then we can't copy it down. So we use cell locations. You can either click or you can type in B2 and then add, so plus, and then this one, enter. So here's our answer, but we can see up here it's actually a formula, and we're going to copy it down. All right, let's do subtract. Equals B2 minus C2. All right, we got that, and we can copy it down. Now multiply is the asterisk, so equals B2, and then shift 8 is our asterisk, and then C2. I'm going to move that down, copy it down, and then divide is the slash, so equals B2 divided by C2, and then we will copy it down. Now there's a lot of ways we could do the average. We could use the function, Or we know that we add two numbers and divide by 2. That'll give us it, so we could just use this added here and divide that by 2. But what I want to remind you or let you know is that order of operation matters in a spreadsheet. It uses it just the same as you do in math. So if you want something to happen first, you've got to use parentheses. So let's do it like this. We'll start with equals, and then in parentheses, we're going to add the two cells together. So the spreadsheet will do this first, and then whatever that turns out to be, we're going to divide it by 2 because there's two numbers. And since it's always two numbers, we can have that number there. So now I hit enter, and I can copy that down. So very easy to do both formulas and functions. One other note before you start working on your assignments, oftentimes column A has a lot of words in it, and sometimes those words will go over column A and into column B, and so people tend to skip column B and just start in C. We don't skip columns. Rather, if you hover up here between A and B, you get this arrow pointing to the right. You can make the column as big or as small as you want, but don't skip columns. That's going to create problems later on.